Hello, everyone. My name is John. Some of you know me, some of you don't know me. If you don't know me, my name is John, like I said before, and I have been day trading for about 4 years now, trading ICT concepts with a mix of power of three ranges. And today is going to be the day where I actually go and start a series teaching you guys exactly how I day trade the markets every single day, Monday to Friday, after 9:30. So before we begin, I do have to advise you guys that I am not a financial advice. Anything you see here is for educational and entertainment purposes only. Just because I have obtained profitability with these concepts doesn't mean you will. Okay. So with that out the way, what I recommend for everyone to do is if you have not watched the ICT 2022 mentorship series or his market maker model video from the 2023 series, I highly recommend everyone go and watch that before you continue my videos, because I will be explaining stuff and you're not going to understand what it is, and I'm not going to go and explain the basics. We're just going to be talking about some very advanced stuff here. And yeah, so without further ado, the first thing we're going to be doing is what I'm going to showcase to you is every day at 9 o'clock. I want to say around 9 o'clock, right? What we usually do, or like what I would usually do in this case, is let's go ahead and replay back. Okay, now I know you guys are going to be like, oh, replay this, replay that. I have done this every single day. I will go and unprivate some videos if I need to go and show proof. All right. I have on my Twitter 100% win rate from the beginning of January this year, 2026, till nearly the end of April. Day trading these same exact concepts. They're all of it is private now, except for on my Twitter. You can go ahead and see all the stats straight from Apex. But yeah, without further ado, let's go ahead and continue. So what we're doing is every day prior to 9:30, I want to say even at like near 8 to almost going to 9, right? So let's say that it's currently 8, right? The 8 o'clock hourly candle is about to finish. Okay. Now, this is exactly how I read order flow on the higher time frame. Forget about if we're in a higher time frame market maker model, forget about all of that. Anything that you've heard before. What I'm going to teach you is something super, super simple, right? You don't even need to understand where the market's going. You just need to anticipate the reversal points, okay? So let's say today, like what happened today in the market, we had a crazy sell market, market maker sell model. But what I like to do is prior to 9:30, the first thing that we're going to be doing is we're going to be looking for specifically for fair value gaps that haven't been fully filled, or breakaway gaps. This is the most simplest thing in the world. I promise you, once you see it, you will use it for the rest of your life day trading. All right, so what we can see here is we have this gap down here that formed at 3 o'clock in the morning, right, during London. So I'm going to go ahead and mark that out right there, or make it green since it is a bullish gap. And notice as well, we do have a sell side objective right there. Okay. We're going to go ahead and mark that as our sell side. Now, does anything else here catch my eye? We look here, we do have a breakaway gap right here. This is a bearish fair value gap, breakaway gap, because it hasn't been touched yet. We probably just continue going lower without retracing into it. And obviously we do have, for example, we do have this gap right here, right? This gap is not valid for us to take shorts off due to the fact that it's been fully traded into. I personally do not care about this gap right here, nor would I care about this gap right here. As you can see, this gap's also been fully filled. But what I will do is I'll definitely go ahead and mark that as like a buy side target. So these would be our buy side targets. You know, we have a few right there. We have sell side here. You also have like relative equal lows right here and right here. And you also have I think this is the prior week low. Yeah, so this is previous week low. So but this would be a whole crazy movement to expect us to go all the way from 20,060 all the way to 28,000. Like, that's just too much movement. But this will definitely be the idea. You're gonna be marking out nearby liquidities, fair value gaps that have not been fully filled. Especially like if they haven't been fully filled, you're gonna mark out the swing point in that gap as a liquidity objective. And you're also going to mark out objectives like nearby as well. So in this case, we do have that. We also can see here, if 8 o'clock closes like this, we're going to have a swing high right here at this 7 o'clock candle high, right? So that would be a buy side as well. Seeing how we don't have any buy side all the way up to until this 9 o'clock candle from Thursday, July 16th. So what we're going to go ahead and see here is this is exactly how I will predict the movement of the day. As we know, at 9:30, price is very, very volatile. The market just opens. So we can expect 9:30 to go and manipulate to one of our objectives here and cause a reversal. This is the simplest thing that I do, okay? I do this every day. Now, the only time this does change is going to be based off of the Forex Factory news, like if there's 8:30 news or 10 a.m. news. Now, if there is 8:30 news, I will expect 9:30 to instantly reverse, unless there's 8:30 and 10 o'clock news, which it can then vary, because if the reversal happens at 9:30, I expect 10 o'clock to just fully like deliver the whole distribution side. Or if we consolidate at 9:30, then I expect the 10 o'clock news to go ahead and cause the reversal and then start distributing towards the main objective. But yeah, 8:30, I expect it to also be a full manipulation move. So ideally, what we could see is as well as like 8:30, like manipulate to one of our POIs that we marked out. But like when it comes to 8:30, it's very interesting. You have to take a look at a few 8:30 profiles, which we're gonna be going over a few news profiles in one of the next videos. Exactly, so I can go ahead and showcase to you guys the different ways that the 8:30 news can happen, whether it's like barely any volatility or super volatile and so on. But yeah, essentially this is what we're looking at, right? So we have our few objectives here. We have a bullish gap, a low inside of it as sell side. We have a few lows under it. We have a few highs, and we have one bearish breakaway gap. And now we officially have a swing point here because we know that the next candle is about to open. So we have also a high prior to 9:30. So the way that I'm going to be trading here is going to be super simple, right? What you're waiting for is for the next candle to go ahead and print. And while it is printing, I'm going to put it for 5 minutes, right? Actually, do like 3 minutes. So as this candle's forming, you're simply waiting for 9:30. At 9:30, you're going to see a crazy candle, right? Like this candle is going to be moving hectic. Once you see it, okay, we took the high and we have hit our point of interest. You guys see that? At this point in time, now you are allowed to go to the lower time frame and go ahead and see, hey, what's going on here, right? Like this. And so yeah, this is exactly what we're going to be looking at. So what you're going to see is price is going to make a reversal, ideally off of our point of interest here. Okay, simple, simple. Okay, there we have a reversal signature. You can see there, we do have the breaker pattern right there. High, low, higher, high. Boom. Immediately retrace into the breaker there, into the CSD, as you will. But yeah, initially right there, it's this candle right here, the 950 candle retracing up, this leaving this wick right here. That is your entry in this case. But we're not going to go over entry specifically yet, but I am going to showcase to you guys the logic of this, the breakaway gap, like everything prior to 9:30. We're going to look at a few examples of this throughout this first video. I want to show you guys it does work, but at the end of the day, once you backtest, you're going to see exactly what I mean. And this is how I trade without bias. All right. I literally wait for one of these areas to get hit, and I expect the reversal to happen. Obviously, as we can see here on the lower time frame, there is a lot of consolidation right here. So this would be like ideally like the first target that we would want to look for. Also, I'm gonna provide you guys with these indicators. I don't have them turned on right now, but we're gonna turn on the key levels right now. So key levels is basically gonna be some an indicator that marks out previous day high, previous day low, EQ and stuff like that. Custom cycles up to you, but we'll do a video on that soon. For now, we're not gonna use any at all. We're not gonna use previous day high or low or EQ right now. We're simply gonna be using the opening prices. Okay. So we can see here is we are in fact in a premium. Price is above midnight, 8:30 and 9:30. So what we could do is we can always target these opening prices as very as good partials or closing times, because the market's always referring back to premium and discount. In this case, what we're going to be looking at is we also do have midnight right here, right in advance of this sell side as well. So it's very nice. I would prefer if the whole market can just roll over to the sell side, but ideally the first objectives are going to be the opening prices. Our first sell side is right here, which is going to be, I would say, the original consolidation. You also have a sell side here right in advance of it and one below it. It's very clear right there. I go ahead and mark out. This is from the 2022 video. You go and mark out your high and low. Right here, you can see anything below the 50% is in the discount. So if we're assuming that the high is in, essentially you're looking for the first targets below the 50%. So yeah, ideally this is ideally the first target. Anything below that is extra, and it's totally up to you. But if you already got in, let's say you got in up here at the top of this breaker, let's say you had your stop above the break, 47-point stop loss. Even targeting this right here, you're already getting a 2.8 RR. Very simple. So the possibilities are endless. You don't need to catch the whole market maker model to be profitable. Just catching point A to point B is ideally the first target here. But yeah, as you guys can see here, I'm gonna go ahead and play this through. I'll play 10x right here so you guys can see. So there you guys have it. Price goes, hits our midnight opening price. They take a while, but you can see that I already saw the whole day, but price does retrace a little bit around the buy side area, the level, and then it goes and keeps shorting all the way down. But this right here would have been the entry right there. Very simple. You can see how often price goes and it references the 930 right here again to keep shorting the 830 as well. And then we finally hit. We're now in a super deep discount. I still wouldn't trust longs unless there's SMT with this sell side, but we're not going to really talk about SMT really too much in this whole algorithmic framework lecture, because I personally don't use SMT like that. But there's still going to be a video on it, but not the way that you guys have seen it be. Yeah, basically this is exactly what we're looking at here. I'm not going to really go too deep into how this whole movement worked and how price navigated. We are going to be talking about PO3 ranges, by the way, but this is going to be for a later video. Okay. But what I'm showcasing is simply the breakaway gaps, the not filled fair value gaps from the 1 hour, and how we can use them to navigate price, right? Yeah. Super simple stuff right here. I'll go ahead and get out of replay here so you guys can go ahead and see that, yes, our full target does get hit right here. Price goes back into a premium, and then it just shorts completely back down. See here, hit all of the objectives that I have marked out. Now, perfect. yeah, we're gonna go ahead and go to another day, right? So, and before I continue, there's gonna be days where you're gonna be like, John, there's no nearby breakaway gaps. There's no nearby gaps that are not fully filled. Like they're all fully filled, etc., etc. So what you're gonna do at that point is you're just not gonna trade, guys. It's so simple. Can you sit back and not trade due to the fact that there's no higher time frame areas nearby? Like that is going to be the question here, guys. You guys need to learn to have that discipline. Okay, we're gonna be looking at Wednesday from July 15. So it is currently 8 o'clock right here, as you guys can see, 8 o'clock. It's about to be 9 o'clock. So what are we looking for here, right? All right, simple. We do have a breakaway gap right here. You guys can see right there. They're going to be a bearish gap. We also have these highs right here. Those highs are nice. They're pretty relative. And we have a breakaway gap right here that formed during the Asian session. That color, but there is green. Also, as far as sell side goes, I would just aim for the low underneath the gap. Worst comes to worst, because there is really no sell side here. As you can see, we did take out this low prior, but we never hit the gap, right? So essentially, what we're waiting for is going to be something very simple. We want to see 930 either do two things. Well, it could do like three things, but let's go ahead. We're going to say goes into the gap and shorts. We're going to say goes above the gap and then shorts, right? But essentially, if we're going to do such a big move like this, in my opinion, I would want to see, like at this point, like if price goes and takes out all these highs and inverts this gap, it's highly unlikely we're gonna get any bearish momentum, but what we could see is something like this, right? Or like price is gonna go and hit the inverted gap and then go higher. Or price can also, this is just from my experience and I will go ahead and talk about it. Price can go ahead and wick all of this, take out all these highs, body closes back below it, this underneath the gap or in the gap, it's highly likely it's gonna go ahead and go lower. It's definitely like a big manipulation though if this happens, and personally I wouldn't be interested in trading this. It's not the way that I like to trade. I don't like to see us like take out lows and highs in the gap and come all the way back down. Like that's too much manipulation in my opinion. Another suggestion here, what we can see price do is instead of leaves this gap open, goes into this gap and then goes back up or keep shorting. Right? So it's going to be as simple as that. That same situation for this low right here. As you can see, this low is below the gap. Therefore, if price goes and trades through this gap, take out this low, I want to see it actually close below this low or even below the gap so we can continue going lower, right? Simple. All right, let's go ahead and see what the 9 o'clock candle does, which is the one that has our 930 movement. Go ahead and do the 3 minutes. You can see right here, prior to 930, I believe so, market goes and draws into the gap. Go ahead and go to the 1 minute time frame. Have we hit 930 yet? Have not. Okay. So essentially, if we're looking here, we can see we also have some relative equal lows right here on the 1 minute. This 830 news candle, the PPI candle. So yeah, price goes up here, and you guys can see here, 930 retraces there, and then the sell market starts going. Simple, right? I'm not going to go into the specifications of this whole move lower right now. Like I said, we're simply looking at what we want the market to do on the 1 hour. It's not about bias or nothing. We're literally saying, hey, we're going to mark out our areas and see what it offers, right? Look here. And like I said, there's going to be days where there is no gap. Oh, okay, so this is the 7 o'clock candle. Right. Okay. So now what we have done right now is we have in fact created a bullish breakaway gap right here. Better mark that out. And this is going to be the last example for the video. Yeah, so right now we do have a gap here that's not touched. You can see here, this gap down here has been touched before. Price mitigated it. We have a sell side objective right there as well. I'm looking here on the left side. We do have a breakaway gap right here. Super small, but it's valid. Mark it as red. And we also have this one right here. Super small, valid. You see here, we do have a swing point right there. That's buy side. So that'd be one of the main higher time frame objectives, right? So what can we see the market do? It's either going to go into this low and go higher, go into this gap, go higher, go up into one of these smaller gaps and go lower, etc., etc. So now we already have all the scenarios in our head. All we have to do is wait for the 9:30 candle. So right there, as you can see, 9:30 went and tapped into our gap right there. And the market then began a buy model. See here? Going straight up now. Okay. And look at that. Price hits one of our breakaway gaps and it completely reverses. As you guys can see here, this is the importance of marking out our key levels prior to 9. Okay. So if 9 o'clock, where did 9 o'clock close? So 9 o'clock closed right here. Therefore, this gap has actually been inverted right there. You guys can see here, 9:59 candle closes right there. So that right there means that the candle, it wicked into it and then closed right here, and the market rolls over. Now, I'm not going to really go too deep into entries, but here is like a little breaker. Right there's your entry. And then you could target this quick low right there that we bounced off from the bullish gap and never fully mitigated it. You actually go here. Look, I'm going to go ahead and cut this candle out right here, the 10 o'clock candle. Go back to the 1 hour. As you guys can see here, the low is right there. The gap is not fully filled. Still potential to go a little lower to fully fill the gap, right? Simple stuff. You see here, there's still a little room. Obviously, if you go back to the 1 hour as well, you can see here the price has in fact fully filled this breakaway gap as well. So see here on also on the 1 minute. So now we're expecting the next hourly candle to try to do a reversal off of this gap. So simple. Get right there. Okay. Now that this candle has fully filled this gap, even gone a little bit below it, but if the 10:59 candle closes above it, then it has in fact respected it as well. You guys can see here, we have closed right there. Therefore now it's just like front and back, like it's literally range bound delivery. We're playing ping pong with these gaps. That's what it is. And honestly, I only like to trade specifically during the macros, ideally. But if you get a reversal right at 9:30, then you go ahead and I would take it personally, but it has to be very clear. This case, you can see this reversal right here happened in the macro 9:58. Looking at macro specifically between the 50 to the 10-minute mark. But yeah, ideally, you guys can see it right there. If you actually go back to our trade from today, go ahead and remove all the drawings. You guys can see here this 9 o'clock reversal here from Monday, July 20th, 2026 was at 9:45, a little bit prior to the macro, but that's fine. At 9:50, you can see here, get a entry right there, and then price books it. Super, super simple. You see here, you also have a reversal off midnight. It has nothing to do with the bullish gap because there was no bullish gap, but you got a reversal in the macro. You got another reversal here, right as the macro's ending. You see at 12:10, then the market starts to roll over. 30 macros, that's the time limit here, guys. We're not using GB time before anyone asks, PO3 time. I am not going to be teaching that because I am not using it in this in the algorithmic framework model that I'm teaching you guys that I use every single day that I'm day trading. But yeah, if you guys don't believe me, struggle to see what I'm showing you, go into your charts every day prior to 9 o'clock. You're going to go and mark out gaps that are not fully traded into, or you're going to mark away breakaway gaps, okay? I know there's going to be days where there's probably going to be a gap that's fully filled. For example, if we're looking like right here, prior to 9 o'clock. So for example, you see here like, oh, like John, there's a gap right here. Yeah, this gap is fully filled. As you can see, I would not trust this movement at all. But notice as well, there is a breakaway gap right there. We're clean. So you can see there, 9 o'clock goes, taps into it. Right there, 9 o'clock taps into it, 9:30 taps into it. And obviously this is not clean, like my entry model is not really here at all. But essentially you can see that price does bounce off of it and then it actually goes shorter. And plus this at 9:30 here, there's nothing here for longs. I mean, you could try this at 9:45, but that's expecting the macro to push higher. But yeah, guys, keeping it very simple. Ideally, this is what you're doing. If there's no clear point of interest for you, low highs or lows, like I said, you know, then I would not trade that day. It's so simple, guys. I promise you, not trading 1 day, 2 days out of the week is actually going to help you out. There's people who cannot control themselves and they must force a trade even if they don't see things in their models, right? And I'm going to also showcase to you guys one more scenario. Like I might have to draw this one out to make it simple. But essentially, like, let's just say that you have a higher time frame fair value gap right here that has not been filled. Right? Let's say it's like one candle right here. Right here, have a candle that up, but doesn't tap into it. You have a candle that goes a little bit above it, but does not tap into it. So essentially what I'm showing you guys here is going to be like a swing high formation right in advance. Okay, so now what we have here is going to be simple. This is going to be like liquidity right here. It's going to be simple buy side engineered right in advance of a breakaway gap. And now let's say it's 9:30, right? 30 spikes, takes out the high and enters the gap. Then I expect around 9:50 go lower. Simple, guys. This is basically engineering liquidity in advance of a gap prior to, well, not prior, but like, they're just engineering liquidity right in advance of a gap, right? It's like having a, it's like teasing the gap. I would call it as simple as that, teasing a fair value gap. See if I can find you guys. It does happen sometimes, and when it does, it's very, very beautiful. Market instantly, like, tends to instantly reverse off of it. So for example, like here, you can see like we left a sell side right here, right, in advance of this gap, right? Ideally, you would want to see the market pick out that low, hit the gap, and then boom, there it is. Super simple, guys. This is literally the example that I just showcased you guys of, by drawing it. And ideally, you'd be looking for your setup in here. I will go into like entry models and stuff later down the line, but this is just showcasing my logic from higher time frame point of interest, key levels of the gaps, breakaway gaps, and not fully filled gaps. All right, this is the simplest way that I can explain to you guys how I look at the markets. But yeah, I hope you guys found this insightful. Obviously, this is going to be a very interesting series because there's a lot to talk about. I can't tell you how many videos I'm going to do, but as it goes, I'm going to be making videos, guys, until I feel like I've put enough into the series where you guys can go ahead and start seeing what I'm seeing. But yeah, any questions, you guys can always reach out to me on my Discord. It's actually just john_mmxm. You can also join my algo group. I'm actually currently like reconstructing the whole Discord because I'm changing the way everything's gonna work, the whole platform, so we can go ahead and link up all the videos there. And all of this is free, guys. These indicators are free. I'm gonna be putting them as well in the description below. All right, guys. Hope you guys really found this insightful, and I hope you all take care, be safe. Yeah. All right, and for those of you that have actually stuck around till the end of the video, I'm going to be giving you guys one more POI. Now, this POI right here is basically when the gap that we're looking at has actually been fully filled. Now, I know what I said, breakaway gaps, and gaps that aren't fully filled. Now, when it comes to gaps that are in fact filled, right? For example, we have this gap right here, and we have a low, a little bit below the gap. It's fine, but it's fully filled. This at 3 a.m. price fully traded through this whole gap and reversed off it, and that's cool. So the only way that these gaps that are fully filled work is if we actually take out the low inside that fully filled gap and still close back above it. This is the only exception when you will be using these fully filled gaps. Okay? Clearly see here. Go ahead and play it out through you. There. What happens at 9 o'clock? Well, in this case, 10 o'clock. Probably was a delayed reversal. You can see it right there. Price goes into it, takes it out, and notice as well, midnight is below it. So price on top of this, price goes into a discount of midnight and then reverses. Go to the 1 minute real quick just to showcase the trade. And you guys can clearly see here, we do have a very obvious buy side here from 930. 930 starts to move lower. It chops around. So about the macro at 1010, reversal happens. And this all looks like engineered liquidity, like trendline liquidity right here. You can clearly see it, very obvious. So we're expecting this whole thing to get ran very, very soon, very quickly. For me, entry would be when these two gaps get inverted. I'll do that for you guys. But remember, like I said, we're not going into entries, but when these two gaps get inverted, you can clearly see right here, perfect bodies respecting it, and then there it is. The whole market maker buy model for this day. Obviously, you could use the ranges on this, but we're gonna use that for a whole other day. I just want to throw this in there for those of you that did stay till the end of the video. But yeah, guys, look out for these. I'm telling you, once you see them, you can't unsee them, guys. But yeah, take care, guys.